Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Do you hate Amtrak as much as I do? 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. If you're an Amtrak lover, I'd like to hear from you too, because I got some big questions here. But Amtrak is a program that just won't go away. It is the living embodiment of that old Ronald Reagan joke, the closest thing we have to eternal life in this realm is a government project. I mean, he's almost close on that one. But Amtrak is such a pain in the butt because it is an obsolete technology. It's the way we used to get from point A to point B in, 1830. And the only reason it still exists today, passenger rail service, is because you and I are forced to pay for it against our wishes, to losing billions of dollars, taking up millions of acreage of land, all the eminent domain, all the property confiscation that goes with it, all the wasted time, wasted jobs. They even lose money selling $13 cheeseburgers on Amtrak. Do you know that like even their food service loses money? It's a huge embarrassing failure. It needs to go away. And for some reason, every time it's reported on in the news, I don't know why news people like it. Maybe it's because they're young and idealistic. Oh, this is going to be great. We'll have a new choo-choo train, or we want a new train line from Dallas to Houston, or we want a new train line from New Orleans to Jacksonville. It never ends with these people. And why do they love trains so much? It's like windmills. It's like, who told you windmills were awesome? And why do you believe them? They're like, as long as the technology is like 200 years old, we love it. We're going to subsidize the hell out of it. Stop. So this latest project is one of the worst. It's among the dumbest ideas that anyone could propose, and it got proposed. And a whole board of people at Amtrak heard this terrible idea and thought, hey, that's a good idea. We should try that. Thanks for coming up with that. Here's some details. Amtrak is going to debut a new route in November that will take travelers from Miami to Chicago and back. They just announced it this week. It's going to be called the Floridian. But check this out. If you're going from Chicago to Florida, listen to where the stops are. Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville. That all makes sense. Washington, D.C. What? Pittsburgh and Cleveland. That's right. It's not going to go from Chicago to Miami in anything close to a straight line. It's going to make like a right triangle. It's going to make like a beeline straight east through Cleveland and Pittsburgh till it gets to Washington, D.C., and then it's going to go south. This whole journey just to go from Chicago to Miami. If everything goes perfect, 47 hours. 40, you're going to be on this dumb train for like 2 days. Who does this? Oh, I have to be from Chicago. I have to be in Miami. So I'm going to go there for a conference. Why would you take a train? What, you got to take 2 extra days off of work now? Just so you can get a view, the beautiful countryside of what? Ohio? Who is going to do this? How is this practical for anybody? Who wants to sit on a train for 2 straight days? This isn't the Mel Gibson movie Maverick. This is real life. This is not what normal productive people do. I understand if you're retired and you've got all the time in the world and you just want to go sightseeing, but that's not who this is for. And the reporting about it makes me want to just beat my head against a brick wall. This is like I feel like the emperor has no clothes. Like I'm the kid going, hey, everybody, this is a dumb idea. And they're like, no, this is a great idea. Like even when they talk to the president and CEO of the Rail Passengers Association, he says, rail passengers applauds Amtrak for this innovative solution to keeping passengers moving to a critical state of good repair work. We believe riders will flock to this new service. How many? I want to see what the number is. I want to see a presentation, because if this was in the private sector, you would have to tell the board of directors of your train company, we did our market research. We expect X amount of riders to go on the train at X dollars per rider. And then the train and our expenses are going to cost this much. We'll get a little more revenue from selling them food or upcharging them for luxuries or getting in first class. And so this is how much we'll bring in. This is how much it'll cost. And this will be the expected profit. And if it doesn't live up to those expectations, it gets cut. But in government, they don't even care. They're not even telling you this is how many people we expect. This is how much money we expect to bring in. This is how much money it's going to cost. They don't care that it's a money loser. They get to celebrate it and call it a success no matter what. It's a success even if it loses money, even if it only lasts for a little while and doesn't get the ridership you expect. Even if it's a huge embarrassing failure, it gets called a success. How do you know it's a success? It hadn't even run yet. These people just love any excuse to spend your money, to waste your money. And who's in the Rail Passengers Association? Who identifies themselves as a rail passenger these days? Who? Are you a rail passenger? Do you know a rail passenger? Do you know someone who, even if you do ride the train on a regular basis, do you identify, like, is that your identity? I need to join an association and gather together with the other rail passengers. I'm not in a car drivers association. Mike Traina drives a car. He's not in a car driver. You drive a car. You're in a car right now. Are you in a car drivers association? Who are these people? Hey, next time there's a new Amtrak announcement and you want to get some opinions on it, ask me. Don't ask the people who get paid by Amtrak. Don't ask the politicians who voted for this, who get to hand out the contracts to their donors and their cronies and their friends and get to filter some of that back to their campaign. Don't ask those people. Ask me. Ask a taxpayer. Hey, we have a federal program that's going to lose millions and millions of dollars pretending to take people from Chicago to Miami. Well, listen, why does a guy in Wyoming have to be taxed for this? This is going nowhere near him. This doesn't do him any good. Why does the guy in Idaho, why do we have to be taxed for this? If this is such a good idea, why isn't a private sector company doing it already? But no, I didn't see anything about predictions. This is the amount of money we expect to bring in, this amount of ridership we expect. They're just declaring it a success without any metrics whatsoever. They make these predictions about how great it goes in the future. Well, what about all these other lines that you've tried? What about all these other specials that Amtrak's come up? Have any of them been a success? And by success, I mean not a huge embarrassing failure for the taxpayers. They'll be declared success, sure, but none of them. Here's the secret, and I know it sounds kind of hard to believe, but none of them have ever made money. Meaning, from the point of view of me and you, the taxpayer, they don't have one success on their record. Amtrak's been around for decades, and every single project is a failure. Imagine owning a football team. And so, like the Cowboys started up in, 67? Imagine we've been playing this whole time, and we haven't even won one game. That's what Amtrak is. And it's celebrated. No. How bad does it have to be? How dumb does the idea have to be before we all stand up and go, hey, this Amtrak thing is dumb. Like, seriously, can we just end this? This doesn't make any sense anymore. Can we stop subsidizing the technology of the beginning of the Industrial Revolution as if we haven't progressed that beyond that, as if we don't have cars now? And these are the same people like that make predictions about how, the people are going to be riding these trains. And if we just build a train from here to Plano, people are going to be riding it all over the place. None of their predictions come true. Just like when they talk about how some island is shrinking in the Indian Ocean, you come back 20 years later, it's bigger than it was. Just like when they talk about how the polar bears are going away, you come back 20 years later and the population has doubled. Just like when they say the inflation's transitory, it's still here. When the Inflation Reduction Act didn't get rid of it. How bad does it have to be before we shut these people down? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Coming up next, we're going to talk about why people are quitting their jobs en masse on The James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hang on, before we get into a review of some of the latest viral video parody, funny stuffs from the campaign trail, found a couple of good emails I should probably respond to. If you're nice enough to write in, I'll should be nice enough to reply. And if I can do it on air, I will. Dennis in Decatur was writing on the fair share topic that dominated a big chunk of this show today. His idea, the true fair share is a flat tax of 9% for all. God only asked for 10%. My government shouldn't ask for more. Okay, I like that. I prefer that to what we have now. I think that's a nice step on the way to my ultimate goal of no income tax. But I can understand why people think that's fantasy. Well, we need more taxes. I think you're crazy, but I do like your idea much better than what we have now. And you've already done a good job explaining yourself. And we know more about Dennis in Decatur's tax plan than we do about Kamala Harris. And she's running for president. His next sentence, I disagree with, though. Shut down the IRS and move all personnel to CBP, Border Patrol, or ICE at equal pay. No, just shut down the IRS and tell those people to go join the private sector and produce something and put into the pot instead of taking out of the pot. The other one, I don't think she left her name. Oh, Elaine. Elaine writes in and she says, I am one listener who lives on Social Security and have Medicare. Don't slam us. We paid for both. If you interpreted that as a slam, I certainly didn't mean it. Just because I say we need to dissolve or at least privatize Social Security and Medicare. That doesn't mean like I think you should be kicked out on the street and screw you, Elaine. It just means these are social programs that coming up in about 5 years or so, it's going to collapse anyway, Social Security. And I don't mean like it's going to completely go away. But when you say you paid for both, I mean, I get why you say that, because you have a line item in your paycheck that was taken out for Social Security. But it's not like it went to its own account and it just sat there and grew on its own and you're withdrawing out of your own account. It went to a big pile and people have been spending out of that pile. And you have been paying for the benefits for people who took Social Security before you. Right now, your Social Security benefits are being paid for by people who are working now. And it's not a system where you paid for it. It's just intergenerational theft. It's literally a Ponzi scheme. It's just a government mandated Ponzi scheme that we're all forced to pay into. And don't worry. Without Social Security, old people did not die in the streets in America before Social Security came around. But we'll have to go a little bit more in depth on that on a future show. Because when I say I'm against socialism, I mean social programs, period, point blank, end of story. I do not think we should have Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. And when you talk about, well, James, that's like 70% of what our federal budget is. Exactly. Now you know how I think we can get rid of the income tax. Anyway, on a future show, when it's not election season, we'll talk about the alternative to that. But I just wanted to address a couple of really good emails, thoughtful emails, before we start making fun of the song. Did you hear the new one? I think I debuted this yesterday from the Marsh Family. This is Gimme Hope, Kamala. It's a parody song that's a pro-Kamala song.
When old Donald used to run the country, he subdivision tried to build a wall. He made a few of his people wealthy. Oh, he don't care about the rest at all.
He's got convictions, he did the nasty and undermined the Constitution.
He's an oppressor of civil liberties, megalomaniac Republican.
Oh!
When they say, thank you, Firing Squad. When they say he's an oppressor of civil liberties, what are they talking about? I mean, what restrictions out there besides abortion? I mean, that's the only one. What are they talking about? Oppressor of civil liberty. Like, how do they get away with just saying such horrible things about people with no basis? But that's the one. I think I don't know if that's a good song or not. I find it kind of catchy. It's a lot better if you don't look at the video, because the video is like the most beta male setup. It makes me just embarrassed to be a man that there's 3 men in this video. And I don't want to like make fun of like ad hominem attack the people that made it, but kind of takes away the fun of it. The coolest one is probably eating the dogs, eating the cats, the Kiffness version. I have like
In Springfield,
I have like 6 versions of this song that different people have done. But I think this is my favorite one, and really overall, just judging it by its musicality, the best one.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Look, it kind of has that tropical vibe, like the Give Me Hope Kamala song, without being all beta.
People of Springfield, please don't eat my dogs.
Whatever. And I think the one that people are asking the most for me is the Chance McClain song called Tampon Tim. Now, the reason why I figured out why I'm getting so much email for this song, it's not anywhere else. I figured it would be on YouTube or Rumble or Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or something. But I heard this. I have friends in the radio business, and one of them does a show in Houston, and I heard it on his show, and I just emailed him, hey, give me that song. I want to play it. And I guess they didn't put it up anywhere. So this is the only place in Dallas that you're hearing the Tampon Tim song from Chance McClain.
Grade school boys and grade school girls.
That's stupid.
All need tampons all over the world.
I don't think they do, Chance.
Once a month, their front holes bleed.
I think that's a new term for it now,
There's
isn't
just one thing they need.
They need more than that.
When you think about tampons,
Who do you think about?
think Tampon Tim.
When you think about what?
When you think about tampons,
Who should I think about?
think Tampon Tim.
Oh, okay. Stupid.
Tampon, 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 Tim. Little white torpedoes from a cotton gin.
Torpedoes?
Tampon, 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 Tim. Have a tampon party with all your
All right,
friends.
God.
When you
It's so funny. All right, now I see why y'all like that. I hadn't listened to it in a while. So stupid. The harmonies are beautiful, though, aren't they? Hey, come out and join me. I'll be live at the Texas State Fair tomorrow in the Embarcadero building. And Mark Levin's coming up next. If you need more James Show between now and 2 o'clock tomorrow, check out the podcast, WBAP app, WBAP.com, or wherever you're already listening to podcasts. I'm James Parker. It's been The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.